Next up in the lounge, I am so excited to welcome one of my personal heroes and a member of Teen Vogue's 21 Under 21 class of 2018, youth activist and organizer, BreAnne. Hi, Winter.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Good. I literally am in school down the street, so missing some classes.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So at just 18, you've worked as a youth organizer with the Women's March, started your own social media movement to tell positive stories about the Black community. What motivated you to get, so involved at such a young age?
Yeah. Oh, I would say my parents. And I was a very interesting kid where I finished my high school curricula by 9th grade. So I could say I had a lot of free time on my hands. And my mom and dad aren't very supportive of undisciplined free time. And so they're always you need to be doing something. And during that time, also it was the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was really inspired by the 3 women who spearheaded that. And so I ended up starting to just share positive stories going on in my community because I understood that storytelling was a big piece in this puzzle. And so also I ended up touring elementary schools, teaching young kids about civic engagement. I did end up joining Women's March and help leading their youth team for about a year. And so I've been all over, and then it's going.
No, that's amazing. So what do you see your role for young people specifically in advancing racial healing in society?
Yeah. I mean, I think first it's taking charge of immediate agency to start conversations. And I think a lot of times as young people, we're often shunned or pushed out of spaces where so-called adult conversations are going on, or things are often filtered for us. And I think as young people, it's imperative that we understand that we have full all the resources we need within ourselves to create change and create the world we want to see for ourselves. And so, yeah.
So what advice would you give to some teens out there who are watching and they want to change things? They see that the world is obviously in a lot of trouble, but they're just not sure really where to start. Maybe they can't even vote yet. Maybe they don't really understand how important the elections are, and they're busy with school. Adults aren't taking them seriously. What would you tell them that they can do to start today?
Yeah, so I mean, as myself, I just turned 19, but for the past the most of my life, I wasn't able to vote. And while that was definitely a big aspect of my activism, I still was on the ground organizing people to vote, encouraging my family to vote, and with all that meaning to just speak up and take charge of your voice and making sure that you understand your immediate agency around you, your friends, your family, your schoolmates are all people that you have influence over, and so use that correctly. And then it's not something it's not an anomaly to say that young people have led social movements. I mean, from Martin Luther King, who was in his early 20s for when he did most of the work that we honor and praise him for, especially on yesterday, to John Lewis, who was 19 and in school when he was a part of the March on Washington. And so I would say that it's in your blood. It's history. It's makes a lot of sense for us to take up space and create change.
This is why I love my job at Teen Vogue, though, because I think that so many people talk down to young people and don't realize the power that you have and the passion and just the will and the drive. And I love it so much. And so I'm so proud of you. And I know I speak on behalf of everyone. We can't wait to see all the things that you're going to be doing. And thank you so much for coming and sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.